Hey guys, what's up? It's ET. I'm a freelance creative director and I'm doing portfolio reviews for people to help them turn their portfolios into guaranteed gig getters, especially in this really rotten economy that we're in right now. So hopefully if you're watching this, it's helpful to you, person whose portfolio I'm about to look at, and also to everyone else who's out there trying to find ways to get feedback on their work, think of ways to improve their online folios, and get their work elevated to another level so they can get the gigs, the jobs, and or the clients they want. Very exciting development in the creative portfolio review world. My big announcement is that in addition to free 10-minute reviews, I'm now offering 3 other levels of paid reviews. There's the bronze boomerang, which is the free one. There's the silver skillet, which is a little more advanced, and that's the one that you're going to watch me do now. I'm going to do a silver skillet for this person coming up. Then there's the golden goal, and the gold goal is even more advanced with some conceptual development and a whole bunch of other stuff thrown in. And then there's the big daddy, the titanium torch, where I light the way and show you the path to portfolio nirvana. I invite you to check out all 4 levels on the website. You can see the link right here at eranthomson.com/reviews. Go there, check it out. Find the review that's right for you, and let's get you the gigs that you're looking for. Okay, now, as I always say at the start of every review, the opinions I share here are mine and mine alone. Don't feel like you have to take anything or everything I say on board, but if you start getting the same kind of feedback from people, maybe it's time to listen and make some changes and take some of the collective suggestions on board. Also, everything I say here comes from a place of love and respect. All I really want to do is help you make your work better so you can succeed in this amazing career as a creative professional. If you want to know why I'm doing this and take a deeper dive into the rationale, you can go to eranthomson.com/reviews and check out the FAQs. I explain everything there. And now, without further ado, I'm going to get stuck into a silver skillet review for Mr. Matt Enger. And Matt is a designer and art director, and we're going to have a quick look at his folio. All right, so let's get that up and get stuck in. Okay. So Matt Enger is an art director and designer. I think he's living in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the United States. And okay, right off the bat, what I'm really liking here is you are putting all the focus and attention on the work. And I believe that's how it should be, right? The work is everything. And you're showing me that you understand that, which I think is cool. Also, your hero images are, for the most part, really nice. And most of the type, when there is type, is centered. Most of the important parts of the image are centered. So there's a consistency to how you're treating stuff. The rollovers tell me what they are. So this is nice, simple, clean way to present your work. There's a lot of it. You know, what am I looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. That's like 36 pieces of work, man. That is way too much work to put in a portfolio. The good news is I've already had a quick look through this, and there is some great work in here. And there's some work that's less great. And so you can get rid of a bunch. And I'm going to tell you what I think you should get rid of. And then there's some other things which I think with some nudges and tweaks, you can take them from good to great. And I'll talk to you about that as well. But right off the bat, way too much stuff here. And also considering that behind each of these tiles is a lot of work also. So this could be a long review, but there's a lot of great stuff in here, and I think a lot for people watching to learn from and take away. So I hope that you'll stick with me and enjoy this silver skillet review. All right. So let's start. We'll just do them in order. DeKalb, Asgrow, TV. So one of the things I noticed about your portfolio is you use these kind of hero images on every frame, sometimes more than one. And I think that's redundant. I understand that some themes force you to do that, and you may be limited by what the capabilities of the theme that you've chosen are. But if possible, just like on the homepage where you've chosen to make all the focus about the work, let's just make it each one of your portfolio pages really just show me the work and not load me up with redundant imagery. So that's my first tip. The second thing, if you've watched any of my other reviews, you probably know that I'm not a huge fan of explaining the work unless it's really necessary. And in some instances, it absolutely is. But generally speaking, my philosophy is that when I see your ad on TV or online or in a magazine, no one's there to explain it to me then, and it should be the same for your portfolio. If I can't figure out what it is and why it is, then maybe it's not that strong a piece of work to begin with. Okay, let's see.
The passion to make this season better. Since the beginning, it's been our goal too. From our pipeline of groundbreaking traits to new technologies, ours is a story of innovation and a proven track record that's pushed performance and the industry farther than many thought was possible. But there's still work to be done and yields to chase. Because as you know all too well, success doesn't come to those who wait.
Okay, so whoops. So I'm just gonna pause. Whoops, can I?
The passion.
Vimeo controls. Okay, yeah. So this is one of those things that what I often tell people is just because you did the work doesn't mean you have to show the work, right? You don't have to put everything you ever did that got made into your portfolio. And this is a classic example of, somebody had some money, you went out and did a shoot, and you made this thing, but it's so inside baseball for starters, like in terms of the specific industry that this product or this ad is for. Secondly, it's a muddled message, right? You've got three brands here, DeKalb, Asgrow, and now Bayer. Plus, so it's not clear what it is. Official sponsors of success. None of the voiceover talks about that in a way that I recall, or that this line pays off in a meaningful way. So I really feel like this is not a great start to your portfolio, especially when I know from having looked ahead that you've got some really killer stuff coming. So for me, put your best stuff up front and take your weakest stuff out. And in this instance, what I think is the opportunity here is this DeKalb logo is awesome. The Asgrow one's cool too, but if you got the hustle and drive to try and make something great out of what you got, you may have an opportunity here to do that. You've got some cool footage, you've got a cool brand, you got a cool logo in this DeKalb thing. Is it possible that you could take this very confusing, very kind of inside baseball ad campaign or TV ad and take some of the cool footage that you've got, chuck it into iMovie, and put together a different cut that uses some of the farm imagery and write and then go on Fiverr and get someone to record a new voiceover that actually has some awesome message about what it takes to be a farmer and how farmers are the backbones of America, and without the right tools and the right equipment and the right fertilizer, they can't succeed the way all of America wants them to succeed. And that's why we're here, DeKalb, official sponsors of success. That to me at least feels anthemic and big and cool. And if you write it well, I'm along for the ride, and I've got like a yeehaw at the end of it. Like there's something that could be salvaged out of this. Yes, it'll become spec and not real, but you want to put great work in your book. And I know you know what great work is because I've seen it in here. So that's the opportunity I see with this, is if you've got the drive, energy, and time, work with a writer, come up with an anthemic VO about how DeKalb or Asgrow has the stuff it takes to make farmers great. And it takes more than tools and good equipment and getting up early and all that stuff. And write a great anthemic voiceover, get it recorded cheaply, pull a favor with a local post-production house if you have mates that work there, and see if you can cobble something together that feels more anthemic and cool and exciting. That's my tips on the DeKalb Asgrow thing. All right, let's go Scholar Path. So this is what I'm talking about. You got this sort of hero image up here, but then you're repeating it. I feel like you don't need the hero images. Also, for this one, I don't think you really need to explain what it is. It's explained in the ad. Now, I really like these. This was when I landed on your homepage. It was the first thing I saw that made me laugh because I knew instantly what it was, and I relate to that oh no, uh-oh feeling. The oh no and the uh-oh feel kind of like the same thing. So I would have loved to see you be a bit braver and maybe even a bit more authentic with these. So some of the ideas off the top of my head are like, could it be, could you have a third one in the campaign? By the way, I think if you're doing campaigns in a portfolio, it's 3, right? 3 says that the idea was strong enough to become campaignable. If you can only come up with 2, my suggestion is show your best 1, right? So that way your book becomes filled with one-offs that are fantastic or campaigns that are great, right? 2 feels like I'm not sure if the idea had legs, and 1 is usually better than the other, or in this instance, they're both kind of the same. So my campaign extension idea for this, Matt, would be to, let's see, I think it would be to consider something like maybe one of them could be help, right? H-E-L-P. Another one could be F, scribble, 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 C-K, like someone's just gotten mad and scratched out the thing. So it's like, fuck, right? And there's probably more, if you spent time thinking about it, that you could do here to really extend these and make them funny. Again, for your book, fuck or F, scratch, 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 CK is totally within bounds, right? Remember, this is your portfolio. It's supposed to represent you and your way of thinking, what you think is cool, funny, smart, brave, and it's not the place to be limited by what you actually made, right? Especially when you have the opportunity to do campaign extensions like you do here simply, right? Because you can do the art direction effortlessly. So I think these green ones are really quick and funny. I would encourage you to be braver and maybe a little more authentic with some of the things that people use to fill in. I think you can make them work quicker by eliminating some of the copy and just having the logo and the URL. I mean, if you saw this test thing and it said, feeling tested by our future, Scholar Path, scholarpath.com. The whole story, everything I need to know is already there. The college, career, trade school, knowing what to do next, blah, blah, blah. Don't need it. It's really unnecessary. I'm not saying you should get rid of it. I'm just saying you don't need it, okay? Now, let's look at the next ones because they're like a different sort of execution here. Now, these do the thing I love, which is the logo and the URL. That proves, demonstrates, and shows to me that I'm right and that you can do this with less information and they become more powerful. The erase, the pencil one I think could be stronger. Like if I'm erasing anxiety about my future, like I want that pencil's chewed up, that's great, but I feel like it could be like ground down, shorter. The tip shouldn't be sharp, it should be broken off and like, a little bit of graphite there. The eraser could be even more worn down and maybe the metal's chewed up too. I feel like just you could really build even more anxiety into that image. And in keeping with the idea that you show in the eraser version, you could have pencil scratching out anxiety, right? So it's like erase anxiety about your future, but the anxiety is scratched out, right? So that makes it more powerful, striking, and again, just really heightens the idea, I think. The eraser one, I think, could be stronger as well. And it's more about the line. You don't know how to reduce anxiety about your future is a clunky line compared to erase anxiety about your future. But if you got rid of the you don't know how to, and you just had the line reduce anxiety about your future, and then the reduce was erased partially so that you could still read the word like you have don't now, then you've made it faster for me to read. You haven't lost anything of the idea. And to me, that's always a good test. How much can I take away and still retain the idea and get it across to people? So that's my 2 cents on Scholar Path. I like them, and I think they're really close to being stuff that you should keep in your book. But right now, I think they need just a little bit of tweaking and work. And I believe, if you have these layouts sitting on your computer somewhere, the things I'm suggesting, you should be able to do quite easily. Okay, let's go to the next campaign. UMC Quick Care Calamity. Again, I'm not sure you need to explain these. Let's have a look.
Calamity. It lurks around every corner. Or not. That's why UMC Quick Care is around UMC Quick Care for all your small calamities.
Okay.
It lurks around every corner. Or not. That's why UMC Quick Care is around every corner, with locations around the...
Okay, I get it. Yeah. Okay, Calamity Quick Care. So, all right, let's talk about these. So, I mean, first of all, I wanted to see that kid eat shit. I wanted to see the girl fall off and get pain everywhere. And I think this campaign would have been way more memorable, funny, fun, and work a lot harder if we'd seen them eat shit, right? It just would have. It's human nature. I have this theory that other people getting hurt is always funny unless you know them. And so I get the idea is you think they're going to get hurt or there's opportunities where people get hurt and they don't. But it feels like maybe like the client tried to make you do that rather than you doing the thing you really wanted to do. That's my guess about what happened with these. And the or not thing is a little bit weird too, because the rhythmic nature of language makes it feel like when the guy comes on, he goes, calamity exists around every corner or not, which is why UMC Quick Care is around the corner or not, right? We're just kind of expecting, I feel like we're expecting to hear those words and they don't come, and that's maybe perfect, right? But it just felt a little unbalanced to me in a weird way. I think also for this TV, if it's for your reel, get rid of this exclusive hospital provider of the Golden Knights logo. Like, keep stuff clean, right? This is a mistake that I see in people's portfolios all the time. Is they put all the stuff, like when they're putting it in their folio, they keep all the stuff that the lawyers and the client made them take in. They got in the way of the idea, or slows down the idea, or just muddies up the presentation. So, whenever possible, if you have control, get versions for yourself. Make friends with your editors. Make friends with the person doing your layouts if it's not you, and get rid of the fluff, man. Focus on the ideas. Keep your executions clean, and they'll work stronger, I think. So as for the print, like, it's a really hard to read headline, and there's a lot of words in it. And then there's copy, and then there's a tagline, and then there's a logo that's also words, and then there's a phone number and a URL. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. And, it's not an easy job as an art director, I understand, to try and make all that stuff look great and look good for a client version. But, not to sound like a broken record, this is your portfolio. So do the version of these for your book that you think is awesome and great. You've got the elements, which you would have procured for yourselves when you did the shoot. Use the ones that you think are awesome and do something great. So my sense is that you could possibly shorten the headline. Like, it could just be the guy on the bike and it says calamity could be around the corner as a headline, right? And then down below it says, so we're around the corner too, right? And then you could lose all that copy about locations and seeing you for bumps, breaks, and sprains, because I don't think we necessarily need to know that. And then put the tagline under the logo. So again, to repeat myself, I think it could be, because calamity could be around the corner above the tire, and then the next thing you see below the image or next to the logo where Get Better Quick is, so we're around the corner too. UMC Quick Care, and then Get Better Quick down below with the URL. Something like that, to me, feels like it would speed it up and make these visually less clunky. My honest opinion is you probably just get rid of the print and keep the one TVC that's really strong, because I think the kid jumping is funnier and more interesting than the girl on the ladder, and one great one is better than one great one plus two or three okay ones, and I think that's sort of what you have here. Okay? All right, let's go to the next thing. This is this hero image thing I think is kind of slowing you down. But I love these. I think these are fantastic. I love them so much. The art direction is fire. The headlines are good. I wish there was a third one. A campaign is 3. You're going to hear me say this a lot. If you only have 2, pick one great one. This might be the exception because they're both really nice. I mean, the whiskey one is better than the cowboy country one, in my opinion. But if you had a third one that you could chuck in here and make yourself a really nice looking campaign, I think it's worth the time and energy to try and do that. This should be the first thing in your book. Like if I'm looking at stuff in chronological order now, I've already seen, what have I seen? I saw the DeKalb Asgrow, then I saw Scholar Path, which was pretty good. UMC Quick Care was okay. Wrangler is at a whole nother level, right? Wrangler is the first thing in your book that tells me like, oh, this guy gets it, right? This stuff is great. I really, really like it. The copy is okay, but the headlines are good and the art direction is nice. And I would just love to see a third one. If I have any feedback at all, it's that maybe there's too many logos, right? Because you got the D, you got downtown, you've got the NFRI or NFR. That's a lot of stuff, but the art direction choices you've made kind of allow them to work. If I was really, really nitpicky, I think all three logos should be just nudged down a little bit so that they're centered in that yellow and green band respectively in each one of these, so they just feel a little bit more center height aligned. But that's me being really picky. But I think the type is cool, the image is cool, the textures, everything. Really, really nice piece of work, and this stays in your book. Okay, Bar Canada. It was a funny image. I thought this was a guy at first. I don't know why. I guess because of the shirt suspenders. It's showing some sexism here. Unapologetically Canadian. Of all this celebration, it's a Canadian bar in a Las Vegas casino, I guess. So what do we think about this? Okay, look, Canada Moose. That's an instant, easy kind of connection to make. You're playing to stereotype. I don't know if the line pays off the image, though, in a very fun or cool way. Like, why do Canadians need to apologize? Is there something? I'm from North America originally. I spent a lot of time in Canada. I'm confused about why they would need to be unapologetically Canadian. I guess if they're in Vegas and you're saying something to Americans who go to Vegas, like, "Hey, if you don't like Canada, tough shit. This is a Canadian bar," but then I guess the copy maybe needs to explain that. So it's an arresting visual, if not easy first thought, in my opinion. But it doesn't feel like it's working that hard. Again, especially now that you've set the bar with the Wrangler work. Okay, that's the bar right now as we move through your portfolio, and anything that doesn't meet that bar makes potential people looking at your portfolio think that you don't know where the bar is yourself. Right? If you've got great stuff and then really not great stuff, people might not trust you to know what is great. So that's why it becomes important not to put everything you've ever done in your book and to only put your best stuff in. How could you make this work, right? Because one of the things I love to do is, you've gotten a brief, you've done a photo shoot, you've got all the assets, and now you've got this piece of work that isn't working that hard for you. Could you do something with it that changes that, right? And who cares if it's real, right? This is the thing that ran into magazines or in-flight magazines or whatever. Who cares? If you could turn this around and write a headline for this that makes people go, fuck yeah, then do it, and it makes your book stronger. My first thoughts are probably not great, but it could be something like, we serve, a Canadian bar that serves more than Moosehead. We've got everything Canadian from chips and gravy to, maple syrup. I don't know. Another one could be more like, maybe the line is recognizably Canadian, and you'll know it from the minute you walk in that there's something different here. It's the great white north in the great hot desert, or something like that. And my favorite line that I thought of for these, which you definitely shouldn't put in your book, is something like, "I'll be even more beautiful after you drink a few of these." Right? Can you imagine the bartender? "I'll be even more beautiful after you drink a few more of these." That's sexist and wrong, and I'll deny that I ever gave you that idea if anyone asks. Okay, let's move along. Anyway, the point is, try and see if you want to salvage this. Write a fucking great line that goes with the image. The Mob Museum. Okay, this is another thing I've noticed you've done in your portfolio, which I don't think is necessary, is these kind of random images of the places or the things that the ads are for. If what you're showing me here is the banners, they're not that interesting. So why put this in here at all other than to prove that it exists? But again, if the next thing I'm going to see is the ads for this place, then I'm going to assume that it exists and I don't need to see a picture of it. So you're just slowing me down and showing me things that I have to think about when I'm time poor, trying to decide if I like you, trying to decide if you have what it takes to work with me. And so don't inhibit that process by putting unnecessary imagery in your portfolio. Now, you've also got this thing where you kind of do mock-ups. Maybe that's cool, maybe it's not. Everybody will have a different opinion. My preference is just show me the work flat. Let me get a good look at it, and let it be that. So these are awesome too. I love them. Again, your personal style is starting to show through in the better work, right? First Wrangler is, set a bar. This is also, I feel like, at and around that bar. The art direction is great. The typography is great. The attitude is great. The logo is nice. The logo and the typography maybe don't quite match, but it's okay. Everything kind of works. I just think crime organized is a nice, simple line. Visit or else. Yes, right? Sometimes the simplest things work best. And my favorite one, have you heard about us? From who we want to name. Great. This is a great campaign, right? I have no suggestions for how to make this better. I think it's really, really nice. Okay. BLT Burger. So, again, here's this magazine mock-up. I don't really think it's working that hard for you. Interesting choice here not to show all the images. I guess you figured, you get it, viewer. I don't need to show you every single thing. It's the same thing over and over again. That's a cool choice. It respects me, as a creative person looking at your work, that you know that I'm going to understand it pretty quickly, but you've shown me just enough to make sure I get the idea. So that's pretty cool. But here's what I'm gonna suggest a bunch of things around this particular piece of work. The first is, and this isn't your fault, but BLT is already a kind of sandwich, right? So when I see BLT burger, I'm like, oh, it's a bacon, lettuce, and tomato burger, right? And then the next thing I read next to that is burgers made with stuff besides burger, okay? So the brand, it's bad branding, all right? And that's not your fault unless you came up with the name. Or if their whole thing is every burger we sell comes with bacon, lettuce, and tomato, then that's what the campaign should be about, and this is a miss, the whole thing, right? But I'm going to assume that it stands for like berries, lovely treats, burger, I don't know, whatever. I don't even know what it is, and maybe it doesn't matter. I also can't read the tiny type that sits under that logo. It looks like Better Laurent. I don't know. It could be French. I don't know. I can't read it. So I don't know if that's giving me a clue if it's a clue that I can't get or I'm missing. So all right. So the BLT is a kind of sandwich. So I think the name is working against you here, right? Also that line. I know what you're doing, but it feels clunky, right? Burger made with stuff besides burger is like puts a cognitive load on someone, right? It's like, wait. So it's okay. So it's turkey burger, but a turkey burger is also a burger. You mean cow burger. You know what I mean? Like it just feels clunky as a line. So what if it was something like more than just burgers, right? That at least makes me, it's simpler, it's less words. It still kind of uses the joke of burger, and nothing gets lost. Going back to my earlier point about what can I strip away and still make sure the message is communicated successfully, right? So more than just burgers, I think is a better line and does the job as well, if not better. You could also do something like, maybe it's like meet some new meat, right? So it's M-E-E-T, some new M-E-A-T, right? Meet some new meat. And then the logo or tagline could be something like BLT, unboring burgers, right? So your hierarchy would be the picture of the turkey or the fish or the buffalo or the ostrich, and it says, time to meet some meat, meet some new meat, BLT burger, unboring burgers, right? That already, to me, elevates this work to another level. It's not maybe great yet, but it's improved. Also, for your book, I would get rid of that Mirage logo, right? Just because it ran for the Mirage doesn't mean you have to show it to me that way, right? If you could get rid of that Mirage logo, where would you put the BLT Burger logo? What would you have done differently to make the hierarchy of this information work more strongly, right? Because if you get rid of that Mirage logo, BLT can move down to the center, or it can move to the right where the Mirage is. You can have your line, which is meet some new meat, and then the logo with the tagline, unboring burgers. Something like that, all of a sudden, takes this simple idea and just heightens it in a way that potentially makes it book worthy. Right now, it's close, but not quite. What else do I think about that? It's just not to the level of Wrangler and Scholar Prep and Mob Museum right now. The only other thing I could think of is like maybe the animals could have speech bubbles. What would a turkey think about this? What would the fish think about this? Maybe it's like, cows are boring, right? Try something new. Maybe they don't want to be eaten, right? Maybe that's the funny thing. Like the Chick-fil-A cow billboards famously eat more chicken, right? So I feel like you're really close to something interesting and funny here if you give yourself permission to explore and play a bit more. So those are the ideas I have for you. Try some new lines. Consider what the animals that you're showing would be feeling, thinking, and potentially saying in a little funny speech bubble, and simplify that whole bottom section. Really clean it up. If the stuff in gold, these really small letters underneath the logo aren't working hard, get rid of those. Get rid of the Mirage logo. Tighten it up with a nice line. And I think you've got something here that you could be proud of. All right, City Center of Las Vegas. Oh, yeah. So again, I think this main image, I think it's just a theme thing, but this main image here is really confusing to me. I don't know why I'm looking at it. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for. And it's not instantly obvious with those kind of Adidas striped shadows on the pyramids what that has to do with this, because those shadows were clearly not made by anything in this photograph, right? So it's really confusing. So I think get rid of it. Now, this is that mock-up thing again. I just feel like it's slowing you down. Just show me the work, right? And if you can, show me 3. Again, a campaign is 3. Otherwise, pick your best one. All right. So I guess I'm confused because the architectural design doesn't match that you show me in the picture doesn't match the idea, which is there's these tall, skinny buildings that are casting a shadow in other parts of the world. We'll get to what that's even about in a second. The logo, however, does pay that off, right? So if I see the shadow and then I see the logo, at least I know, oh, that's a building or buildings that are casting a shadow on other parts of the world. At least I will understand that. But you have the hierarchy right in pyramids and maybe wrong on the Great Wall because you want to see the shadow first and then the logo, right? Actually, yeah, I think it's wrong on both of them. I would find a way to bring the shadow in the pyramids further over to the left, or just drag the pyramids over the left, and then put City Center on the right, and then I would move City Center in the Great Wall one, I'd move City Center down to the right. That way you see shadow, building logo, and at least the visual connection between those two things is instantly clear. And even if I don't yet understand why you're doing that, I understand what I'm looking at, okay? So what is the idea with these? I wasn't really sure. I'm reading the copy. It's not instantly clear to me. I thought that it may be a build on this idea could be that things like the Great Wall and the pyramids, those are often referred to as the 8 wonders of the world, or 2 of the 8 wonders of the world. Is this new city center potentially the 9th? And if so, all you're missing here is a line, right? This imagery with that logo and a headline that's something like, City Center Las Vegas, the 9th wonder of the world. Boom. Now this makes sense. Now I get it. And it's a decent campaign. Or, if you get 3, if you show me another one. So that's as far as I can kind of get on these, because I'm not really quite sure what the actual reason for them is. What I would say is lose the legal. Again, going back to stripping stuff out that gets in the way. Just because the lawyers made you put it in the real campaign doesn't mean you have to have it in the one for your book. So yeah, get rid of it, clean these up, and I think they'll work more strongly for you. Oh, yeah. Also on that, I think I would also make the logo bigger. I know I sound like a client there, but I would make the logo bigger on that Las Vegas City Center stuff, because that will help the idea get across more quickly. Hopefully that banging isn't too annoying. Looks like my neighbor's doing some construction. Okay, what are we looking at now? Score Las Vegas. Cool. I like these. Again, what's happening is I can start to see some of your personal style developing here. This feels kind of like in line with the Wrangler stuff and the Mob Museum stuff. It's got that gritty kind of attitude, which I think is more representative of the kind of person you are and the kind of stuff that you love. So that's nice to see. 2 out of 3 of these lines are pretty good. I think you need more, right? I would find a copywriter and like come up with as many killer headlines as you can. Again, just because the client may have bought these doesn't mean those are the ones you have to use in your portfolio, right? I think the flying car is nice. Could it be shorter? Because shorter lines are always better. What if it was like flying cars are already here, right? Score Las Vegas. That to me tightens this up. You don't lose anything, but it just doesn't. It's just quicker, right? For all those who said cars will never fly, ha ha, car, right? Versus, flying cars are already here. It's faster, it's quicker. Also, and it kind of layers in this thing like they're here at Score Las Vegas, which is kind of a bonus. What are some other lines? Like, it takes a lot to build it, a whole lot more to drive it. Okay. That doesn't give me much of a promise in terms of the spectacle of what I'm going to see if I come. I feel like you could be more aggressive and more like in your face with these. Like, how about a headline like tailgaters and brake checkers welcome, right? If you're one of those kind of bad drivers, bring it. I'll fucking smash you, right? Or we guzzle gas, dirt, and slow pokes, right? If this guy's coming up on someone going slower than him, he's going to go over them or through them, right? So I feel like lines like that will heighten this campaign even more. And again, just like the campaign before, remove all this superfluous copy at the bottom and just put in what you really need. So in every single one of these, I think it could be headline, awesome photo, Score Las Vegas, and a URL. And I'd probably chuck the logo back either in the middle underneath here and like stack the logo and the URL, or put it in the right. I think with the imagery you've chosen, stacking it in the middle would probably look okay, but you'll find the right place for it. It doesn't have to be in the same place on each one either, right? But headline, picture, car, URL, that's enough, and it just cleans these up and gets some great headlines. For the flying car one too, if you have an image where the car is going up, that probably would make it stronger, because right now it looks like it's crashing or going down, but that's nitpicky stuff. But I like these, and again, like I said, I can see your style coming through now in this portfolio. Konami. Right, so I thought about these a lot, and I was thinking, what would I do to try and make these awesome? There's some clever art direction here, I guess, but I feel like there's just not enough going on, and I don't feel like it's a positive message. I'm not sure that these are really ever going to get to a place where they're as good as some of the great stuff in your book. So my advice here is don't spend any more time on these. Just cut them out of your book and let the best stuff do the heavy lifting. Transplant Center. Yes. I'm not going to play this because I've already watched it. I think this is the kind of work that I hope you don't have to do anymore, because you're already so much better than this. And unless you really want to do this kind of stuff, or like your mom works at the hospital, or they saved her life or something like that, and you have an emotional attachment to this work, I'd get rid of it. It just feels like a lot of other things. There's nothing truly unique and special about it. What they do is unique and special, but as an execution, it just doesn't live up to the quality of some of the other stuff, and I think it's hurting you. So I would get rid of it. Southern Health. Yes, okay, I remember this. I watched this. This is the puppet kind of talking.
The flu is not welcome in this town. Every sneeze and every
Yeah, I'm gonna pause. So I've already watched this, and what I'll say about this is it feels it's weird that it's blurry and low res. Like I feel like that should be fixed immediately if you still want to show this. I love puppets. I think they're awesome. I think these puppets are cool, and they can be visually arresting and really grab attention when they're used well. There's so many here; they kind of all get lost. It's not like Bert and Ernie capturing your attention, two shot on screen. It's a whole crowd of them, and so you kind of you don't really connect with any of them, and it doesn't have like a great hook or a great payoff. So I feel like you probably had a lot of fun making this because I've worked with puppets and it can be fun, but the end result isn't as powerful or compelling or strong or just kind of awesome as some of the other stuff in your book. So again, I'm going to suggest that you take this out. Kim Vo Salon. Hello, Kim Vo. Okay. Yeah, again, with the mock-ups thing. So here's an example why I don't like these mock-ups, because I can't read this, and I don't, and then you're doubling up. Like you're showing it in a magazine, but then you're showing it here. Like this is just the images, and then this is the work. So I think why you're showing me these images is because the idea of, if I understand this, because I can't read it, which is a problem, right? One thing I would suggest is like making these clickable so that they go full screen if I do want a closer look, so I can read the copy. And that's something I see on a lot of people's websites. But I think the idea is that, it's natural hair color, and that is cool, right? I never knew that even existed, right? All I know about hair color is that it stinks and it's messy and it's chemicals, and you can burn your skin, and like it can go really wrong sometimes. So I think the idea of natural hair color is cool, like a great brief, but I'm not sure that you've answered that here. Like I don't know what the blue is. The yellow looks like sunflowers or maybe dandelions, and I don't know what the orange is. So if the idea here was these are the natural things that you can use to color your hair, it's not clear what they are, and so the idea is lost. And then the headline, color you sultry, color you sunny, color you sassy, doesn't help explain it either, right? So I feel like there's a big disconnect here. And again, just because it's for the Mirage doesn't mean you have to stick that logo in there. Get rid of if you can find a way to save these, then get rid of the Mirage logo and put the Kim Vo logo down in the bottom right instead. Make these a Kim Vo ad. Otherwise, your book is going to feel like all you did all day was work on Mirage stuff, and that's not really what you want. Nobody has to know, right? So I think do that. So there's probably something really fantastic you can do for a brief like that, because it feels just so unusual of a product, right? So I think spend more time, find a great writer to work with, and if it's these images, then you have to explain what they are because it's not clear. If it's different images and you feel like it, you can start over and try and do something new. But again, you got a lot of great stuff to work with already. Maybe you can, if you don't feel like fixing these, maybe you dump them. Nevada State College brand. Yeah, this is sort of like the hospital stuff, right? It's very vanilla. It doesn't have any of the energy, excitement, or idea that some of your other stuff has that I like. So and going back to my earlier comment about a portfolio that has great stuff in it and then not great stuff in it makes me worry and wonder if you know what great is. I think you do, and I think if you're honest with yourself, you know that this isn't the kind of stuff that you really want to do. And by the way, to anyone watching, the work you put in your portfolio sends a message to the people looking at it that that's the kind of work you want to do. It's not only the stuff it says that you think it's good, it says that you like doing it or want to do it. So if you don't want to do this kind of stuff, don't show it. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff here. I don't think you need it. Look, if you're a freelancer and you're trying to get gigs and someone goes, oh, we need someone to help us with a brochure or a catalog. Have you ever done any of that? Then you go, cool. And you send them a link to this page, right? But this page should be a private, unpublished page on your website that you only send people who want to see specific examples of your work. That'd be my 2 cents on that. Get rid of it. Spirit MTN. Did I miss something? No, Vision. Okay, VSIN, the Sports Betting Network. Yeah, this looks like you, right? Like in terms of your art direction and design style. Like I'm seeing your personality and your taste come through this, but I have no idea what this is really about. And it's not a clever headline. It's kind of hard to read. The hierarchy is off. There's a lot of type fighting and competing with each other. And I mean, cool that you got this massive billboard above the pool in Vegas, but it doesn't. It's not working hard for you. I'd cut it. Actually, I'll just go back to that for a second. Like if you wanted to try and salvage this and make it work, then maybe you need maybe it just needs a great headline. Like what's VSIN anyway? I don't even know. It's a show. Catch the show before you bet. So I guess it's a show about like getting picks and tips and stuff like that. But if it is, that feels like a kind of an easy and fun brief to write a funny headline for. Get unreliable information before the show is first thought. Like that's funny. Everybody knows those tips are bullshit, right? No one. If they were legit, everybody would win. No one does. So like if you want to keep this, have more fun with it. Come up with some lines and maybe try and make a campaign. And don't worry about showing it to me in situ. Just show me great ads. Okay, Spirit Mountain Casino. Right. So I watched this too. This is people waiting in line to get into a club. They can't get in. Waiting in line is so fun. I'm not sure why they're touching their legs, but yeah. Bouncer's like, no. It looks like someone's getting in. And then she comes out and they're all wet. And they think it's hilarious, and she's soaked, ha 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 ha, and they're laughing because they can't wait to get into Raindrops. Yeah. And then he's like, no, you wait. So I don't know what Raindrops is. I don't know if it's a club that like actually has like sprinklers in it, or if they're sweaty from dancing. Maybe that's the joke. I didn't really get it. I understand what you're trying to do, which is sort of like this sort of, at least what it feels like is this sort of pastiche of like a beauty thing where she comes out and does the hair flip and it's glorious and glamorous. But the cinematography here doesn't live up to that standard. So the whole thing just feels like it falls flat. And it's such a long run up to get to that moment, right? And the reward isn't worth the wait. So I know you say up here that you had a lot of fun doing it, but I think you've got stronger work, and you don't need this. Golden Gate Original Casino. Yep. So I guess this is plaques for the rooms. So this is not, this is nice design. It's an interesting idea. I love that you proactively had an opportunity and then expanded that opportunity. That to me, I like. And if I was hiring, I'd be like, that's the kind of person I want to bring onto my team because it shows hustle, it shows ambition, it shows drive. But the end outcome or the end result that you're showing me here is a little, I guess anticlimactic is the word. It's not that it's not good. It's pretty design, but some of your other stuff in your portfolio just has so much energy and passion and like clear craft skills and an enthusiasm for good ad campaigns. And then you kind of bring me into this place. So I feel like, and I know that there's other packaging stuff coming. So one suggestion could be that you separate these things, right? You've got your sort of more traditional advertising portfolio, and then maybe you have like a packaging and collateral design section that you hide, or you have as a sub menu, or you only show people who want to hire you as a freelancer to do that stuff, or maybe you just get rid of all of it and only just show your best ad work. It depends on what you're trying to do with your career and the kind of work that you love to do. But I don't think this is the kind of work that you really want to do based on some of the other stuff I've seen. And with that, I would say cut it. Via Bellagio. Yeah, I think this is that hero image problem. I don't know why it's here. I don't know what I'm looking at. The magazine mock-up is unnecessary. Here's 3 posters. I get it. It's the same thing 3 times. The only thing that's changing is the art direction. You're an art director, designer, so I guess maybe that's why you want me to see these. But you're competing with like Vogue Italia, right? And is this at that level? Not really. So, and there's no idea here whatsoever. It's just fashion. And my favorite fashion is the stuff that has a concept or has an idea. And because this doesn't, and some of your other work does, I think get rid of it. O-Face Donuts. It's a funny name for donuts. Feels sexual for some reason. Honey glazed. I don't know. Is that just me? I'm a dirty pervert. Look, this is a fun brand. The packaging's fun. It's playful. I like the simplicity here. I like what you've done here. Again, I'm not sure if this is the kind of work that you want to do. This, whatever this is that I'm looking at now, it's not as good as everything else. You don't need it. But what I think would be more interesting for you to do is if you've got a relationship with these guys, you've done their packaging, you've done their logo, you've done their collateral, go back to them and say, hey, I want to do a campaign for you guys. Because donuts for me falls in the camp of like condoms, hot sauce, beer, right? If you can't do a great ad for those things, then you shouldn't be in this business to begin with. I feel like it's the same thing for donuts, right? This is an opportunity to tap a relationship I think you might already have, to go back to them and say, your brand is so fun and playful. Let me do a campaign for you. You can pay me in donuts if you have to. Just let me do something great and then agree to run it at least once when I give it to you so that you can then enter it in award shows and try and build some fame for yourself and them, right? So that's my 2 cents on this. Cool brand, cool product. Go back to them with an idea for a campaign, sell it, and do something great for your book. Fumo Cannabis. It's a good name for those of you who don't speak Spanish. Fumo means smoke. Oh no, humo means smoke. What is fumo? Anyway, I like this. It's beautiful design. Again, this legal stuff on the side for your portfolio, I would have maybe hidden that or just photographed it differently or Photoshop it off. It's pretty. But again, I feel like this is a different person, right? There's 2 people in this portfolio. There's an advertising person and then there's a packaging and kind of collateral branding person. And I think those 2 could be separated to avoid confusion. Let's go to Container Park. Downtown Container Park. Cool, so you did the identity and you did some illustration. I don't know if we need to see this place. Again, this photo, you're showing me this stuff and I'm looking in it. Like, am I supposed to be able to read this banner here? Am I supposed to find signage? What am I looking for, right? I just want to see ads or design. So get rid of it and show me those things. Here we go. Container Park. Cool. This is nice. Simple. This stuff is beautiful. Again, this feels more like you and the way you layer and texture things, right? I love when I can see personality in a portfolio, and that's really come through in a few pieces that we've looked at together. So the missed opportunity here with these for me is you've got this beautiful artwork, and it's all got the same headline on it, and it's not a conceptual headline. It's not a funny headline. It's not a clever headline, right? It's discover what's new downtown, right? Huge missed opportunity. So at the risk of sounding like a broken record, find a great copywriter to help you come up with some awesome lines that go with these images. And you've suddenly transformed this boring stuff into a nice little campaign for your book. I don't know, what those lines are. The first bad thing that I came up with was like, get all your stealing and shopping done in one place. And stealing is spelled Steeling, stealing, because containers are made of steel. It's a bad pun. Don't do that, please. I always say a good pun is a poor excuse for a great idea. A good pun is a poor excuse for a great idea. So don't use my bad pun headline. But see if you can come up with some great headlines that go with the steel container image and the trolley and the tree and the tetrahedron, whatever that is, and see if you can turn this around into something that actually belongs with the rest of the great stuff in your portfolio. Bunk house. I like this logo. It's cool. Feels right for Vegas. This print ad is way too busy. Listen, I hear what you've been saying. You think you outgrew the Sloppy Joe years ago, but that I belong in Lunch Lady Land. This is the Sloppy Joe capital of the world, and I am a ballad of flavor and satisfaction. Fresh. Blah, 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 blah. Nobody's going to read this. It's not only is it too long, it's hard to read. And the food photography isn't that spectacular either. It's also the neatest looking Sloppy Joe I've ever seen, which is ironic. The stuff down at the bottom, the self-proclaimed Sloppy Joe capital of the world. Okay, that's cool. Good food, music, drinks, happy hour, bunk basket, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so yeah, they've just crammed so much stuff in here, and nobody's going to remember any of it. If you want to do packaging and logos and menus and stuff like this, again, keep it in here. Maybe, like I said, put that stuff in a separate section from the advertising stuff. I think that will be smart because, I don't think, based on what I think I know about you, that this is really the kind of stuff that you want to do. But it's nice. My fix, if I had one suggestion here, it'd be get rid of everything and keep the billboard. Because the billboard is the only thing here that has a clean, quick, simple, understandable message, right? We're the self-proclaimed Sloppy Joe capital of the world, Bunkhouse Saloon. Cool. That's one piece of information I can digest. Right? So, but could you take the execution further, right? And here's my quick idea. Everybody knows what a Sloppy Joe is. This photograph isn't that beautiful, and it's not sloppy. So what if on this billboard you got rid of the food shot completely, used the space to fill the space with the headline and logo, but then dripped red Sloppy Joe meat and sauce all down the front of it. So it was like dripping down almost to the point of obscuring some of the letters, right? Now it's the self-proclaimed Sloppy Joe capital of the world, and it's covered in Sloppy Joe. That to me is a funny billboard, right? Same was the collateral. Why can't there be like a big Sloppy Joe fingerprint or fingerprints all over this menu and all over the business cards, right? Now it's messy, it's sloppy, and they're living up to their claim in their collateral. And suddenly this goes from good to great, or more good. Maybe not great, but more good. So those are my fix. Saucy fingerprints and Sloppy Joe sauce dripping down from the top of the billboard. And this gets more conceptual, more fun, and works harder for you in this portfolio. Gorsuch clothing, right? Oh, Aspen, fancy clothes. I've never seen more fancy clothes shops in one place outside of Melrose Place and Fifth Avenue in New York. This is pretty. Has anyone watching this ever been to the bathrooms in Balthazar in New York City? Balthazar Cafe? Their wallpaper looks like this. I love it. Sure. So look, this is nice. It's good work. I personally, I love more conceptual stuff, and I think you do too. And I feel like if you want to keep this in your packaging and collateral section of your website, by all means do. But it also could be the sort of thing that you only show clients who need to see proof that you can do this sort of stuff when you get those opportunities. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. Posters, where are they? I saw that. Yeah, posters. Live music poster design. So this is cool. The breeders. Great. I feel like the hierarchy here is a bit off. Like the breeders, I feel like the bunkhouse should stack above with the Neptunes, or just so that it's all one piece of information rather than you could have two pieces of information here instead of three. I don't know what this lie one is, but it's beautiful. Gold and youth at the container park. It's nice typography, I guess. Built to spill. I feel like the bottom bit here is a bit loose, could be tightened up. Richard Grigo, flamenco, that's cool. The kin, nice. The Foley's, that's too many words, and I feel like that one's not as strong as the others. Maybe just simplify it. I'm not sure you need these either, by the way. Again, it depends. If you love doing posters and you want to get poster work, then keep them in and keep them in your collateral section. But again, if you're trying to get out of Las Vegas and get into sort of a creative agency somewhere where you can do more of the kind of work like Wrangler and Mob Museum, then maybe you don't need this stuff. Okay, logo design. Yep. Look, I think you know what you're doing with logos and marks. I'm not going to give you notes or feedback on that. I think some of these are definitely stronger than others. If I was going to do a hard cull, I would probably get rid of the window. I'd get rid of alder and birch. I'd get rid of silver slipper. I'd get rid of Las Vegas Hotel. Maybe get rid of bin 702. Maybe get rid of the beer garden. You got enough. Like, you don't need to show all of these, and some of them are really, really great, and some of them are a bit busy and could probably just be removed. Okay, so we're there. We did it. We made it to the end. How do I get back to your homepage? Oh, let's see what this is elsewhere. Oh, nothing. Okay, that's weird. So I feel like let's see if this does it. Okay, good. So your logo takes me back to the homepage. That's great. Let's go to About real quick. We're in the home stretch. Oh, it's a cute photo. I'm not photogenic, so here's my dog, Ray. Get rid of that. A picture is 1,000 words. This is a cute picture of you, right, and your dog. And I feel like I know something about you looking at it, and then you say, I'm not photogenic, so here's my dog. It detracts from the beauty of the moment you've captured here. So I think just get rid of it. I'm an art director, designer, seasoned spirit, lucky enough to do some great words, great brand, locally, nationally, everything, hospitality. You could put something in here about if you're looking for work. You could put the ask there, right? Like, hit me up if you're looking for a freelancer. I like that this is short and sweet. I sometimes suggest that people don't say that they've done great work, even if you think you've done great work for great brands. The person viewing your portfolio will be like, no, I'm deciding if it's great or not, like I've been, right? So you telling me you've done great work, if I'm looking through your portfolio and I don't think it's great, then that puts me at odds with you. Where if you just said, look, I've been lucky enough to do work, do projects I've really enjoyed spending time on, then that means you love what you do, right? So little nuance here, language. I'm being really nitpicky, but I want you to get where you want to go. And so I'm telling you everything that's going through my head. And then the experience here, like, I don't know if you need it. Like, some people want to see this stuff. I had a creative director tell me once, I don't care if you just got out of jail. If your book is awesome, I'll give you a job. And I think that's still kind of true. If your book is great, people will take the next step and go, who are you? Where have you been? Where do you want to go? And so maybe you can get rid of this. And the clients I've worked with, get rid of that too. I've already seen all your clients you've worked with, and it's not like I'm going to go, oh, you've worked with Bayer Crop Sciences. Well, have I got a gig for you, right? So I think, I understand why you do this. I used to do it, but it's superfluous information. It slows me down, and so I think you can get rid of it. Opinions. I'm hoping this is like your blog or right. Okay, so this is not really, okay, it's other people's opinions about you. Maybe that could be maybe something better than opinions, like what people say about me, or reviews, or I'm hireable. I don't know. I'd think about that if opinions is the right word, because I feel like this is your website. If I see a tab that says opinions, I think what I'm going to get there is yours. And I'm kind of interested to know what they are now, right? That has seen your work. Like, what do you think? So, but lovely that you've got all these people who think you are great. And man, if you're friends with Sunny Ahuja, go back to him and tell him you want to do a great campaign for O-Face. because I think there's an opportunity there waiting to be had. Okay, contact, drop a line, and let's party. Ooh, okay, you're in Vegas. It's the party town of the world, but if I'm dropping you a line, it's because I want to work. So I would consider how this reflects on you. Also, the elsewhere thing, I think you can just get rid of that. Just leave your LinkedIn and Instagram logos down there. That's enough. Okay, so Matt, we've spent quite a bit of time together, and I hope I've given you some positive feedback and some things to think about in this Silver Skillet review, and some headlines to try, and some new ways to take the work that's good in your portfolio and make it great, and to help you identify which of the things in here you might benefit from culling, and which of the things in here you could heighten and make even better, even stronger, even more powerful with just a little bit of extra work. I've really enjoyed looking at this folio. I think that you got what it takes. You're gonna you seem like a hustler. You seem like someone who really wants to get out there and make a name for yourself, and you're well on your way. I wish you all the best. And my kind of final takeaways for anyone watching are: less is always more. You don't have to put everything in your portfolio just because it was produced or real. You don't always have to use the version of things that clients used, right? Cut that legal stuff, cut superfluous logos, cut all that legal stuff that doesn't make the ad stronger. Simplify as much as you can. Get versions for yourself when you're in the edit suite. Create versions for yourself when you're doing layouts, and also for award shows. And if what the client bought was not good, but you have great assets, great imagery, great logo, great brand, consider doing a spec campaign with those assets you've got. Those are the hardest things for most people to collect. So if you're in a situation where you're getting them, use them and try and see if you can make something great out of them, sort of like this Bar Canada stuff, or some of the other things that you have in your portfolio. They feel like they could be opportunities waiting to happen. And then lastly, for you, because you're an art director, designer, I think you should try and find a great writer to work with, because the stuff in your work that I feel like is almost there will get there with the benefit of great headlines and great copywriting. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Thanks, Matt, for sharing your portfolio with me. I'm just going to pop up here for a second. I really, really enjoyed looking at it. If you and thank you for sharing your folio with me. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Crazy? High? Stupid? Drunk? Have I totally blown it? Tell me what you think in the comments. Share your thoughts and feedback on this portfolio. I'm sure I would love to hear it. I'm sure Matt would love to hear it. And if you want to hit me up in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget that I am also doing free and paid reviews. So this is an example of a silver review, which is a paid review, but we also have a bronze level, which is free, the silver skillet, which is not free, then the gold gull, and the titanium torch. You can learn more about all 4 levels of reviews I'm doing on my website, eranthomson.com/reviews. Please go there, have a look, see if there's a review that fits where you're at and what you're looking for, and let's see if we can transform your portfolio into a guaranteed gig getter. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the flip side. Don't forget to send me your portfolio.